Once upon a time, in a small village lived a girl named Mona Lisa. She was not like the other girls. She was ugly, and her appearance made people turn away at first glance. But when Mona Lisa opened her mouth to sing, the world seemed to pause and listen. Her voice was like the gentle flow of a river, soothing and pure. No matter how troubled someone was, no matter how heavy their heart felt, Mona Lisa's songs could bring light to their darkest days. Every evening she stood under the old mango tree in the village square and sang. The farmers who had toiled under the sun all day would sit and listen, their worries fading with each note. The market women, tired from shouting and selling, would close their eyes and sway to her melody. The little children would giggle and dance, clapping their tiny hands in joy. And the villagers, they loved her. They loved her not for her face, but for the beauty in her voice and the kindness in her heart. They would give her some coins, a token of their gratitude. Mona Lisa never kept a single coin for herself. Every day she gathered her coins and hurried home to her mother, a beautiful widow who had given everything to raise her. "Here, Mama," she would say, placing the money in her mother's hands. "For food, for the house, for everything you need." Her mother would smile, tears glistening in her tired eyes. "You are my treasure, Mona Lisa. The world may not see it, but you shine brighter than the stars." And so Mona Lisa continued to sing, not for wealth or fame, but for love, for her mother, for her village, and for the simple joy of making people happy. Because true beauty was never in the face. It was in the heart, in kindness, and in a voice that could touch souls. Mona Lisa had two friends, Lucy and Linda. Unlike Mona Lisa, they were beautiful, with long flowing hair and eyes that sparkled like jewels. But despite their beauty, they were filled with envy. "We are the beautiful ones," Lucy would whisper to Linda. "Yet people don't admire us the way they admire Mona Lisa." Linda would nod, her face twisted with jealousy. "She is ugly, yet everyone loves her. It's not fair." Outwardly, they pretended to be her friends. They walked with her in the village, laughed with her, and even complimented her voice. But in their hearts, jealousy burned like a hidden fire. Whenever they were alone with Mona Lisa, they reminded her of how she looked. "Mona Lisa, you have the voice of an angel," Lucy would say. "But isn't it sad that you weren't blessed with beauty to match it?" Linda would sigh dramatically. "Imagine if you were beautiful like us, people would love you even more." Mona Lisa's heart ached at their words. She never wished to be the most beautiful girl, but their constant reminders of her ugliness made her cry. At night she would sit by the small window of her home, looking at the moon, wondering why the world valued faces more than hearts. Every night Mona Lisa sat by her mother's side, her heart heavy with questions. "Mother, why am I ugly?" she would ask. "Why am I not beautiful like you?" "But mother, why would you give birth to an ugly child like me? You are too beautiful to have an ugly child." Her mother would smile gently. "My child, you took after your father," she said softly. "He was an ugly man, but I loved him for who he was, not for how he looked. And do you know what? You may have his face, but you got your beautiful voice from me." She lifted Mona Lisa's chin, making her look into her warm, loving eyes. "Beauty is not everything, my child. You are ugly, but God blessed you with a melodic voice. You have the love of the whole village, and most importantly, you have the love of your mother. That should be enough for you." Mona Lisa held on to her mother's words, letting them wrap around her like a warm blanket. They gave her strength, made her feel loved. But still, in the quiet of the night, her heart ached. She thought of Lucy and Linda, of their cruel words, of the way they reminded her every day that she was not beautiful. She thought of the way they smiled at her in public, but mocked her in private. "Why do they hate me?" she whispered to herself. "Why does my beauty matter to them?" Even though the villagers adored her, even though her mother reassured her, the words of her friends lingered in her mind, like a dark shadow. No matter how much love she received, a small part of her still wished to be beautiful. One day, Mona Lisa met with her friends, Lucy and Linda, her heart filled with hope and desperation. She looked at them, their flawless faces glowing under the morning sun, and she gathered the courage to ask, "I want to look beautiful like you girls. What will I do to be beautiful?" Lucy and Linda burst into laughter. Their mocking voices echoed through the air, cutting through Mona Lisa's heart like a sharp blade. "Mona Lisa, you can never be beautiful," Lucy sneered. "You are ugly and you will always be ugly," Linda added. "Have you ever seen a monkey trying to be as beautiful as a dove? Some things are just impossible." Mona Lisa felt her heart shattered. Their words burned deep into her soul, louder than any song she had ever sung. Tears welled up in her eyes and she turned away, running back home with a heavy heart. As she reached home, she found her mother weaving a mat by the fire. The moment her mother saw her tear-streaked face, she put the mat aside. "What happened, my child?" her mother asked softly. Through her sobs, Mona Lisa whispered, "They laughed at me, Mother. They said I can never be beautiful. They compared me to a monkey trying to be a dove." Her mother sighed, wiping her daughter's tears. "Oh, my sweet child, listen to me," she said. "A monkey can never be a dove, it is true. But have you ever seen a dove singing as beautifully as you do? Have you ever seen a dove bring happiness to an entire village like you?" Mona Lisa looked up at her mother. "Lucy and Linda are beautiful. Yes," her mother continued, "but beauty alone does not make a person loved. The villagers admire you not for your face, but for the light you bring into their lives. And one day you will see, the world will remember your voice long after beauty has faded from their faces." Mona Lisa wiped her tears, her mother's words soothing her broken heart, though the pain of her friend's cruelty still lingered. One day, as Mona Lisa was walking along the road, when she overheard a group of young men discussing about a goddess that can grant people's wishes, Mona Lisa's heart pounded with excitement as she listened to the young men talk about the deity that could grant wishes. For so long, she had dreamed of being beautiful, of having smooth skin and delicate features like Lucy and Linda. And now, there was hope. "Please, I need the direction, and how to locate the deity," she pleaded. One of the young men hesitated before speaking. "The deity lives deep in the forest, far from here," he said. "The path is lonely and can be dangerous. Are you sure you want to go?" Mona Lisa nodded eagerly. If this goddess could make her beautiful, she was willing to take the risk. The young man sighed and gave her directions. Mona Lisa thanked him and rushed home, her heart full of new hope. That night she barely slept. She kept imagining her new face, smooth, glowing, and perfect. She imagined Lucy and Linda staring at her in shock, the villagers admiring her even more. "Finally, I will be loved for my beauty, not just my voice," she whispered to herself. The next morning she set off towards the forest, determined to change her fate. She had no idea that what awaited her was far more than she had bargained for. As Mona Lisa walked through the forest, her heart pounded with excitement. She imagined herself with smooth, flawless skin, shining eyes, and delicate features like Lucy and Linda. She pictured the villagers gasping in awe, the men admiring her, and her friends finally accepting her. When she finally reached, she found herself standing before the goddess. A mysterious presence filled the air, making her shiver. Without hesitation, she knelt down and pleaded, "Greetings, great goddess. My name is Mona Lisa. I am ugly, and I wish to be beautiful. Please, I beg you." The deity's voice echoed through the air, deep and powerful. "You are welcome to my abode. Close your eyes." Mona Lisa obeyed instantly. Her heart raced as she felt a strange warmth surround her, like an invisible force wrapping her body. A tingling sensation spread across her skin, and for a moment she felt as if she were floating. Then the deity spoke again. Open your eyes and keep this as a secret." Mona Lisa slowly opened her eyes, and what she saw left her breathless. She was transformed. Her skin was smooth and radiant, her eyes shone like the stars, and her hair flowed down her shoulders like silk. She was more beautiful than she had ever imagined. Tears of joy filled her eyes. "Thank you, great deity. Thank you." Without wasting another second, she turned and ran out of the forest, eager to show the world her new beauty. Her legs carried her as fast as the wind, her heart soaring with excitement. She could not wait to see the shock on Lucy and Linda's faces, the admiration in the villagers' eyes, and the pride in her mother's smile. At last she had everything she ever wanted. Or so she thought. When she reached home, her mother couldn't recognize her. "Who are you?" her mother asked. "Mother, why are you asking? It's me, Mona Lisa, your daughter." But her mother couldn't believe her. "Where is Mona Lisa, my daughter? I have not seen her since morning. Do you know where she is?" her mother asked. "Mother, stop it. It's me. I am Mona Lisa, your child." But her mother couldn't believe her. "You are not my daughter. Your voice is different from my daughter's voice. You are beautiful, while my daughter is ugly." Mona Lisa tried to sing, but her voice betrayed her. Ugly and cracked voice. She was disappointed. There was no way to prove to her mother that she was still the same Mona Lisa. Her mother sent her away and began to pray to God to protect Mona Lisa wherever she may be. Mona Lisa left her father's compound. With tears in her eyes, Mona Lisa ran from her home, her heart aching like never before. She had dreamed of this moment of being admired, of being loved for her beauty. But instead, she had lost everything. Her own mother did not recognize her. Worse still, she had lost the one thing that had made her special, her voice. Her once sweet and melodic voice had turned ugly and cracked, unable to bring joy to anyone. The realization hit her like a heavy stone. In her quest for beauty, she had lost the very gift that had made her loved. With nowhere else to go, she rushed to find Lucy and Linda, hoping they would finally accept her now that she was beautiful. When she saw them, they were sitting under a tree, chatting and laughing. As soon as they saw her, their eyes widened in surprise. "Who is this?" Lucy whispered to Linda. Linda looked her up and down, admiration flickering in her eyes. "She's gorgeous, but I have never seen her before." Mona Lisa smiled proudly. "Lucy, Linda, it's me, Mona Lisa," she announced, expecting them to gasp in amazement. But instead of joy, confusion filled their faces. "Mona Lisa," Lucy scoffed. "Stop joking. Mona Lisa is ugly, and you are perfect." "Yes," Linda added. "You can never be Mona Lisa. And even if you are, what proof do you have?" Mona Lisa felt her heart sink. Her proof, her voice, was gone. Desperately, she tried to sing, but what came out was nothing more than a hoarse, broken sound. The same voice that once made the villagers dance and smile was now unrecognizable. Lucy and Linda burst into laughter. "Look at her. She's beautiful, but she sounds like a dying bird," Lucy mocked. "Even with beauty, you are still useless," Linda added cruelly. Mona Lisa's hands trembled as she touched her flawless face. This was what she had wished for, what she had risked everything to gain. But now she felt emptier than ever. Tears streamed down her face as she turned and ran away. She had lost her voice. She had lost her mother. And now even the friends that pushed her to take the risk can no longer recognize her. She had wished for beauty, but at what cost? Mona Lisa walked through the village, hoping to find someone who would recognize her, someone who would believe that she was the same Mona Lisa they had once loved. But every time she spoke, her voice betrayed her. The villagers only stared at her with admiration, whispering among themselves about the mysterious, beautiful stranger. "She looks like a princess. Where did she come from? But she is not Mona Lisa." Mona Lisa was ugly, but her voice was sweet. No one believed her. The more she tried to convince them, the more they laughed and dismissed her. Feeling utterly rejected, she rushed back home, desperate to convince her mother. "Mother, please, I am your daughter. You have to believe me," she cried, kneeling down. But then she remembered the warning of the goddess. "If you reveal the truth, you will die." Terror filled her heart. She wanted to tell her mother everything, to confess what she had done. But fear held her tongue. "I don't know who you are, but you are not my Mona Lisa. Where is my daughter?" she screamed. "Go and bring her back. Wherever you kept her, return her to me. If you don't, the villagers will come for you. You are a murderer. You have killed my child." Mona Lisa gasped, her body trembling with fear. If the villagers believed she had killed Mona Lisa, they would punish her. And she knew the fate of a murderer in the village. It was death. With panic gripping her heart, she turned and ran away. She had lost her home. She had lost her voice. And now she had lost her entire life. Mona Lisa ran deep into the forest, her heart pounding with fear and sorrow. Tears streamed down her face. She had nowhere else to go, only the goddess could undo what had been done. When she reached, she spoke with pain and regret. "I don't need your beauty anymore," she cried. "Take your beauty and give me back my ugliness and my sweet voice. I have lost everything, my mother, my home, my people. You are wicked. You gave me beauty and made the world reject me." Her voice echoed through the forest, filled with pain and regret. "I curse the day I stepped my foot here," she wailed, beating her chest in anguish. "Foolish girl," the goddess spoke, its voice cold and powerful. "You came to me, begging for beauty. I granted your wish, and now you curse me." Mona Lisa clenched her fists, her voice shaking with anger. "You took my voice and turned me into a stranger to my own mother and to my people. What else can you do to me? Kill me. Go ahead, evil goddess." The goddess's voice thundered, filled with fury. "You dare call me an evil goddess? You came to me begging for beauty, and I gave you what you wanted. But because of your own foolishness, you curse me. I will not kill you, Mona Lisa, but I will give you a punishment worse than death. Since you call me evil, then you shall be evil to any human that sets eyes on you." Before Mona Lisa could react, a strange force surrounded her. A searing pain shot through her body, and she screamed as she felt something twisting and changing within her. Her scalp burned, and she grabbed her head in agony. But when she touched her hair, she gasped in horror. Her once flowing hair had transformed into writhing, hissing snakes. They slithered over her head, their forked tongues flickering, their eyes glowing with malice. And when she blinked, she felt a new and terrifying power within her gaze. Mona Lisa's hands trembled as she realized what had happened. Her eyes were cursed. "No, no, what have you done to me?" she whispered in horror. From this moment on, the goddess's voice echoed. "Any human who dares to look into your eyes shall turn to stone. You wished for beauty, but now you will be feared instead. Your curse shall never be broken, and you shall walk the world alone, forever." Mona Lisa let out a scream of despair. She had lost her mother. She had lost her people. She had lost her voice. And now she had lost her humanity. Tears poured down her face, but the snakes on her head only hissed, as if mocking her pain. Mona Lisa ran towards the village, desperate to tell her story to her mother and the village, desperate to be believed. But as she hurried back to the village on her way, she suddenly heard familiar voices. She stopped. Lucy and Linda, the very ones who had made her feel worthless. The ones who had mocked her, pushed her into believing beauty was everything. They stood in her path, staring at her with wide and horrified eyes. "What is this? What kind of creature is this?" Lucy stammered, stepping back in fear. "It looks like a demon," Linda gasped, her voice shaking. Mona Lisa opened her mouth to speak, but before she could say anything, they looked into her eyes. In an instant, their bodies froze. Their skin hardened, their mouths remained open in terror, and within seconds they turned to stone. Mona Lisa gasped in shock. She stepped back, covering her mouth with trembling hands. "No! What have I done?" she whispered. But then another thought struck her. If Lucy and Linda had turned to stone just by looking at her, what about her mother? A fresh wave of horror washed over her. She had been so eager to return home, to see her mother, to tell her the truth. But now she knew if her mother looked at her, she too would turn to stone. "I can never go home," Mona Lisa realized, her heart breaking all over again. Tears streamed down her face, but the snakes on her head only hissed in response, uncaring and mocking. Slowly she turned away from the village, the home she could never return to. There was only one place left for her now, the wilderness, a place where no one would see her, a place where no one would turn to stone. But even in her sorrow there was one small comfort. Lucy and Linda, the ones who had pushed her into making the greatest mistake of her life, were now stones. With a bitter smile, Mona Lisa whispered, "At least now you can never mock me again." And with that, she disappeared into the wilderness, forever cursed, forever feared. A legend, a warning. The girl who wished for beauty, but became a monster instead.